Welcome back. This is Module 7, and we'll be discussing marketing, our DPC. So we've done all this great work. Now we have to tell people we're ready. So when we start with marketing, let's start with our why. Why are you in business? What is your unique value proposition? What do you bring to the table in our community? So is your why that you offer convenience? Is your why that you have phenomenal technology? Is your why that you've got brilliant techniques? What's your why? In your why, let's put that down to an elevator speech. So what's an elevator speech? Remember, an elevator speech is I should be able to tell you about my business in the time that it takes for us to get to our destination on an elevator. And so I want you to start working on your elevator speech. So mine, I'm Amanda Gaskin. I own Ultimate Health Direct Primary Care, where we take the patient and put you back at the center of care. So it's patient plus provider minus insurance equals ultimate health. That's my elevator speech. So I want you to start working on yours. How are we going to let the community, how are we going to let our consumer, how are we going to let our target audience know that we're here? We're going to do things like create brochures. Brochures, you'll need those to drop off at events. You'll need to drop those off if you're ever speaking somewhere. You want to have a nice little trifold brochure that just says who you are, where to reach you, all of your social media handles, and some of the services that you offer. Now, it's not going to be a Bible, just some bullet points of kind of the things that you do, and beautifully put together. You can create these on Vistaprint. You can do this at Staples or Office Depot, or if now that you're in a small business, support a local small business that does that service, a printer. Here we have Minute Maid Press that does ours. They're small, they're local, and so we support local. You're going to need flyers, really simple flyers. Don't make it ridiculous. You know, we're that generation where we want it fast. I want to glance at it and kind of know what you're doing. So keep that in mind, and remember to keep your brand consistent throughout. And something with marketing, decide kind of early in your adventures, what's your way of delivering? So who's your target audience? And then how would you speak to that target audience? So I'm witty, if you have not figured that out yet, but I want witty people. So I give to my potential clients what I would like to receive. I tell equivalent to bad dad jokes, and I like hearing bad dad jokes. So throughout all my marketing materials, if you watch my videos on Instagram, it's that same witty personality. When I put out email blast, it's if I use ChatGPT, I change it and I make it witty because I want me to be consistent. Make sure that your brochures and your flyers are consistent. I have this amazing graphic designer that I work with, Jessa. Jessa gets my personality. She knows I'm a little bit raunchy and I'm a little bit edgy, but I'm classy and I don't get crude. She knows how to make sure that translates into all the printed materials that she creates for me. So you just have to find your niche, decide who you're speaking to, and then speak their language. There was one practice who I interviewed. He did a podcast and he interviewed me, and he's really intelligent. He's super intelligent. It's Iron DPC. He's super smart, like brilliant. And his unique value proposition is that he's cutting edge, that he's well educated. And so he kind of speaks to that person that wants the science behind the thing. So all of his materials, his podcasts, his everything, his posts are about the science behind it. And so he has a large following that's what they're looking for. So figure out what your unique thing is and then give it to them. Your social media, show your face. None of this putting stock photos, going to Canva or Etsy and buying the DPC little carousel and popping those on. No one's going to look at that. They're not going to look at it. They're not going to like it. They're going to scroll right past it. Show your face. Show your personality. That's the difference in DPC. It's personal. I can touch you. I know you. I kind of know about you. When I got married a couple of years ago, my patients followed that wedding journey. And so when it was time for our anniversary, they're like, Amanda, isn't it like your anniversary soon? And I said, yeah, because they become a part of my world just a little bit, because I'm personable. Yes, I am in charge of their health care and they trust me, but they also know that I'm real because I show my face. I showed my husband's face on my birthday. My kids' birthdays, I show my kids' face. Now, not all the time because my kids are old and they could care less, but doing that. With marketing, you got to get some people following you on social media. Well, how are you going to get people following you if you don't follow people? You have to follow folks. You have to like and comment, and then they'll come back. So that's one of my little hacks. So I'll look up something local, or I'll go to a local thing. So say there's a festival here in Leesburg, and I'll see who attended the festival. So I'll go to the City of Leesburg's Instagram, and I'll see that they posted a picture of it. And then I go into the comments and I will follow all the people in the comments. And then I'll go to their pages and I'll like their stuff and I'll comment on their stuff. And you know what happens? They follow me back. It's my little hack. That's free. That's an added bonus. It works. So if you look right now, I think we have 6,000 followers on our Instagram. They are not bots. I did not buy followers. Those are local people. I don't have a bunch of followers that are somewhere far, far away that is not going to receive my service. It's local people. I would go and follow the new nutrition store or little bar, and I'll go on there and I'll follow her stuff and I'll like it. And sometimes I'll share it. So then she'll like mine and she'll share it. And so like, follow, and share, I think is what they say on social media. I produce social media. I don't really consume it. I just do that little hack. So that's a form of marketing. That's getting my name out there. The more people see me, the things that I post, the more they interact with it. It's because I've been interacting with other people's things. Okay. Your local chamber, joining your local chamber, the Chamber of Commerce. When I say local chamber, that is a network of business people, representatives from different businesses, be it the owner or an executive, whoever the liaison is for that business. You're getting with them. You're joining that chamber. You're going to the events. Joining is not enough. You have to participate. You get out of it what you put into it. So one of the biggest things that has been so successful for us is because we're DPC. Keep that in mind. One Friday night, the executive director texted me at 5:00 and she's like, "Oh, Amanda, I feel so crummy." And I said, "Oh, girl, well, you want to stop by the office now? I'm in my car on my way to Target to get some stuff because I just had a facial and the esthetician told me I needed a bunch of stuff. So I'm on my way to buy a bunch of stuff from Target." The executive director of the chamber sends me a text that she's not feeling well. I said, "Hey, you want to meet me at the clinic and let me check you out?" She said, "Yeah, please." I get back here. It's 5:15 on a Friday. I pop her down in my chair after I did a UA on her, put her in my chair, told her, "Oh, sister, you've got a UTI. Let me give you some fluids. Let me give you an IV antibiotic, and let me give you some Toradol." Gave it to her right there in the chair. She takes a picture from my chair, tags me, says, "Oh, Amanda did all these great things for me for $43 because at a discounted rate." Remember, we've got discounted meds and we've got discounted this, that, and the other. Gave that, she posted that, and we went viral. So then everyone's all in her inbox like, "Who's this Amanda chick and what's she offering?" And so they wanted to be in what we now call the Cool Kids Club because that was late on a Friday that I was available to her as a member service. So joining the chamber, getting that level of exposure, going to the events, taking every opportunity available to speak. So something our local chamber does is they will have a breakfast once a month. We will sponsor that breakfast. And as a sponsor of that breakfast, our information's all over as a sponsor. They mention us a couple of times during the event. We've got a table up front with our marketing materials. And then I or my delegate will go and speak about our business. So that's one way that we're getting in front of the heads of different companies. Also, as a direct primary care, remember, it pairs really, really well with small business. So say it's a daycare center. The daycare center, they don't pay all that much and they don't offer their staff benefits. An added service to a daycare center is that the staff have a DPC membership. So who's more exposed to germs than a daycare worker? hand, foot, and mouth, snotty noses, pink eye. They get that stuff left, right, and center. Some stomach virus. Well, a couple of the daycare centers here have taken advantage of our employer-sponsored membership. And in an employer-sponsored membership, the employer, the daycare owner, has bought the membership from us at a discounted rate for her staff. So now when her staff calls in and says, "Oh, Miss Tanya, I have a stomach virus," Miss Tanya knows that that staff member can simply call me and be seen today so that they're not out of work for a week. They can get right back in the saddle as quick as I can get them some fluids and, antibiotics. It's a great benefit. But how would Miss Tanya know that if I had not presented that to Miss Tanya? Marketing. So, chamber memberships, speaking anytime you can, taking every opportunity to sponsor things, not just so your name is on the marquee, but when you have an opportunity to be before the people who would be consuming of your services. And then the cold calling businesses. So with the employer sponsored membership, daycare centers, churches. One of our really big employer-sponsored groups is a church. The church has bought a membership for their leadership team. So the way it works is the representative from the church took up, all of the leadership's names, and then they give us those names and they pay for those people to be members. And then we reach out to them. Now, the employee, everything is private. Their health is discussed just between me and them, but the bill goes to their employer and you offer them a discount for that rate. So just for transparency's sake, because I'm giving you all the good stuff, we're not holding anything back. If my regular membership is $100 a month for an individual, for a business, I would offer that person $75. So if I go to the church and I say, "Hey, give me 5 of your employees and you're going to pay $75 a piece," that's guaranteed money that I have coming in. And that's 5 people that the church can assure will stay in their optimal health because they've got us on their side. So marketing to small businesses is wonderful. And do a couple cold calls. Tree services, any of those industries where it's a small business who has a very lean and friendly staff, like we have a lean and friendly staff, and offering them this amazing benefit. It feels great to the employee who's getting it, that their employer has cared enough about them to take care of them, and it cuts down on absenteeism in that business because you are not laid up with a bad back for 2 weeks when you've got a DPC membership, and you're not over at the emergency room either on day 4 of that because you've already sent me a text, or your DPC provider a text saying, "Hey, my back, I threw it out, pulling a tree or doing whatever. And so small businesses, DPC, market to your small businesses, your local small businesses. Mail flyers to churches, and then open house. Having your initial ribbon cutting open house, invite everybody and their grandmama, invite your local newspaper to write a little blurb about it because you're offering something new. You're offering convenience, you're offering affordability, you're offering quality care. And unfortunately, in these times, that's something unique. You think it'd be the standard, but it's not the standard. So when we opened, the local newspaper wrote a little blurb about us. The mayor came out and cut my ribbon and did a proclamation, so all of his followers saw it. And so that also got some good traffic. So some of that authentic stuff. Next, go to your Google business profile. So you just type in your name in Google. If your profile doesn't pop up, create it. Create your Google My Business. It used to be called Google My Business. Now it's just Google Business or Google Maps. Make sure that it is up to date with your hours, your phone number, your website, and all your services. Because if someone's rolling around and they want IV hydration and they've typed IV hydration near me, you want to pop up. You're not going to pop up if your Google My Business is not up to date. So let's make sure that every service that you offer is on your Google My Business. And I mean every service. If you type UTI treatment near me, my name's popping up because I make sure on our Google My Business, UTI management, depression management, anxiety, hangnails, it's on there. Got it? Siri, that's a new one. Everyone's on their phone like, hey Siri, and you're asking Siri all these things. Make sure your hey Siri, I don't know what it's called, listing is up to date. Your Google, where is the nearest blah, blah, blah. Make sure it's up to date so that Siri, Google, and all them know where you are, your phone number, and your address and hours of operation. Got it? Good. And lastly, your reviews. Honey, we live and die by reviews. Reviews are our bread and butter. You need good reviews. You do not need, she's so rude, I can't get a hold of them on the phone. You need to provide quality service, even from that first patient, and then say, can I get a review? Offer them something. Give them a free B12 injection. A bottle of B12, this is a pro hack. Bottle of B12 is $30. There's 30 injections in that B12 bottle. That means it's $1 an injection. Give it away. People love B12. It makes them feel great and it costs you $1. So, hey, for a review, free B12, they're like, sending out that review. And the more reviews you get, the more you're going to come up in the algorithm when someone's looking for the services that you offer. So, pitfalls to avoid in marketing. Vendor events. You're entering this new arena. So the health fairs are going to come. The different vendor events are going to come. Don't join them, honey. Don't join them. They sound like great causes. It is, unless you just have some free time to donate, vendor events don't work well for DPC. No one's out at a vendor event looking for their next primary care provider. They're not looking for them. Now, if you offer a specialty service, it's like I do sexual wellness, I do sexual health, I do O shots, P shots, vaginal rejuvenation, hormone replacement, I do all those things. If I went to a vendor event, I would not be marketing my DPC. I would be marketing those high ticket value items. I would have my big vertical banner with erectile dysfunction, and I would have it on there with sexual, sexual health services. It's wow, like does that banner really say erectile dysfunction? Yeah, it does. So it's giving that wow. And then the person's going to take my brochure, or they're going to take my card and just kind of run off with that. Those things, yes. But just direct primary care, no. Avoid vendor events. Second pitfall, committing to printed media subscriptions. So we're in business and we're very important. You're very important. You are a highly sought after individual. So different local magazine companies are going to come to you. The local media, printed media, they're going to come to you. Oh, do you want to buy an ad subscription? Our magazines are in X amount of offices and they get mailed to this person in that person's house. When's the last time you picked up a newspaper? I'll wait. Nobody looks at those things. And if they do, they're looking through those things for the article that they're specifically looking for. They're not looking for your ad. And those things can be very pricey. So something that I would like you to avoid that I did was I had commitments to those printed health magazines, and they say you can be the expert, and it feels real good to the ego. It does nothing for your bottom line except take money out of your practice. So keep your money in your practice. Let's invest it where it needs to be invested. And the last one, the last pitfall that I cannot stress enough, hiring marketing firms. Let's avoid hiring marketing firms. Marketing firms, they're going to promise you all these things, and what they're going to do is take your social media and pop a bunch of stock photos up there, and they're not going to get any engagement, and no one's going to know you, and they're not going to come to you based on seeing this little happy woman running through a field. That doesn't translate to people booking with you. So hiring marketing firms, and they are crazy expensive. I remember in the beginning, one quoted me $1,500 a month. She wanted me to pay her $1,500 a month, which was more than the mortgage on the building. She wanted me to pay her $1,500 a month, and she was going to put 6 little Facebook and Instagram posts out for me a month. And they were going to be stock photos. And she said, but we took X and, practice, and we took them to the next level. And I go to, named X practice. And I went, no, ma'am, Sam, not for $1,500 a month. So Let's not do print media subscriptions. Let's not hire marketing firms, and let's avoid vendor events as the pitfalls in marketing. All right, kids, you ready? You can do it. I believe in you. And I'll see you in the next module.